All right, welcome to lesson 9. And as you can see, we are in the book, and this is on page 77. So please go to page 77 in your Learn book and join me for lesson 9. This is the last lesson of section B, where we are just working on adding and subtracting fractions with like and unlike denominators. You can see it right here on the top. Okay, so 1/4 plus 1/6. Are they related or unrelated? They're definitely not alike. Yeah, okay. They are unrelated. And how do we know they're unrelated? Because 6 is not a multiple of 4, and 4 is not a factor of 6. In other words, I can't multiply 4 times something and get 6, or 6 times something and get 4. They're not in a fact family together, right? Do we need to rename one of them, or do we need to rename both of them? Yep, we're going to rename both of them because we can't change a 4 into a 6 or a 6 into a 4. So we have to change them both. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways that we've been doing this, right? And like I said, this is our last lesson on studying this particular method. So let's talk about the different ways. One way is to make an area model, right? Show 1/4 and show 1/6. So let's just, since we're going to look at all of our different ways in this lesson, let's make an area model. Make sure that you're doing that on page 77, right? Everything I write, you are also writing. So 1/4, 3 lines, and one of them is colored in, right? And then 1/6 would be 5 lines, and one of them is colored in. So now we can clearly see how much we're dealing with here, right? I know the coloring does not have to be perfect, and neither do the lines, right? Okay, now what can I do to change my 1/4 and my 1/6 into equivalent, right? I could think about my multiples of 4, and I could think about my multiples of 6. So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Just list them out like that, right? Or I could look at the multiplication chart, but we're trying to wean ourselves off of the multiplication chart, so writing them down would be good. 6, right? 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Can I stop there? Because I see that I have two 12s, right? So I have 12 and 12. So that's going to be my least common multiple, my smallest multiple that's the same. Are there more multiples that are the same? Yeah, like 24. Yeah, 6 times 4 is 24, but 12 would be easier to use. So let's see if we could change our 1/4 into 12ths. What would we have to do? Multiply by 3 or draw 2 lines. So now instead of 1/4, I have 3/12. Do you see that? So let's do it down here so it's underneath the fourths. 1/4 times 3 over 3 equals 3/12, right? Okay, very good. Now what can I do to my 1/6 to change it into 12ths? One line, right? Break it into two parts. So 1/6 times 2 over 2 is equal to 2/12. So we can do it by area model, and we can do it by multiplying, right? We're going to list our skip counting, list our multiples, so we can see what we're changing them to. 6 times what equals 12? 4 times what equals 12, right? That's how we know what we're going to multiply by. Okay. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Hopefully you're understanding that. And this is like so boring for you, right? Could we change it to 24ths? could we have just said, well, I can multiply 4 times 6 and 6 times 4? Could we have done 1/4 times 6 over 6 and get 6/24? And then 1/6 times 4 over 4 and get 4/24. Oops, sorry, equals 4/24. Sure, we can do that. But one problem we're going to see is that the numbers are really big here, right? And sometimes they can be super big, as we're going to see later today. So here we changed them to twelfths. So we can add 3/12 plus 2/12. That would be 5/12. Or we could do 6/24 plus 4/24. That would be 10/24. And these are equal to each other because 5/12 times 2 over 2 is equal to 10/24. And hopefully we all know that when we multiply by 2 over 2 or 3 over 3 or 6 over 6 or 2 over 2, it's the same as multiplying by 1. So we had our 5/12. We're just breaking it into more pieces to make it 10/24. So either of those answers would be fine. But like I said, we got to think about using numbers that are way too big. All right. If you are still having trouble with this understanding, you should probably come and see me and we can have some more talks about it, because we're going to do some more problems in this lesson and things are going to get a little bit harder. So make sure you have a clear understanding of this. All right. And this is the first lesson of the first video of lesson 9, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for your hard work. Aloha.